Welcome, Collective. Today's reading is focused on the energies of your career, and it feels like your career is about to move in a way that's going to feel very sudden and honestly long overdue. There is a shift that is building around you right now, and while it may have looked quiet on the outside, I feel like underneath the surface, things have been rearranging themselves. It's felt like doors that have closed are starting to loosen, and paths that felt very uncertain are becoming like more visible. And what I'm getting very strongly is that your next breakthrough is not going to come through force, it's going to actually come through alignment. um, and in this reading, the energies feel very much like momentum. It feels like a person who has been standing at a crossroads for a lot longer than they want to admit, and like they've been quietly asking the universe for direction, and now suddenly it feels like the first signs of the answer are appearing. So if you've been feeling a little unsure, like if your energy's been a little bit scattered, or if you feel like you've been doing a lot without actually fully seeing like where it's all going, where all your effort and energy is going to, I feel like this is the reading that says stay with it, okay? Because clarity is coming, clarity is on its way. And it's not, the clarity isn't coming to you in some very vague, mystical kind of, way. Instead, it feels like direction, like real movement, real opportunity, like certainty. Something is about to present itself to you, okay? And when it does, it will feel like a mix of relief, but at the same time, surprise. I say relief because I feel like there's a part of you that has known you were ready for something more for quite some time. And surprise because the timing actually ends up coming in a lot faster than you expected. Look, here's the thing. It may not arrive exactly how you pictured it, but it will feel right. And I think that's the important part. Like it will feel like alignment. The energy around your career right now is changing. It's shifting from waiting into receiving, and that's the biggest shift for you. You've actually may have spent a while in this state of effort without any momentum, without seeing any results. It's like you've been working and you've been thinking and you've been putting in the time and the energy and you've been planning, but at the same time, maybe a part of you has been doubting whether the path that you're on is truly the one. And yet, like all of the movement that you've been doing, it hasn't been wasted, right? In fact, it's actually been preparing you, it's been building you, and it's quietly strengthening this version of you that right now feels like it's ready for something bigger. And I want to say this clearly, you're actually more prepared than you think. See, sometimes when an opportunity finally arrives, it doesn't always feel like a dramatic entrance. Sometimes it could show up in a very casual conversation. It can be like a message. It can be a referral from someone. It can come to you like in a sudden idea or a person just mentioning your name in the right room. There's a chance for you to step into something that finally matches your energy. And you know what? The universe, I think, has a very funny way of making things look casual when they're actually deeply significant. So if you're wondering whether you're close or whether your breakthrough is coming, like, yes, it is. You are close. And yes, the breakthrough is on its way. There is a turning point. And what I really like about this energy is it doesn't feel like you're being pushed into a path that you don't want. Instead, it feels like you're being pulled into something that just makes sense, something that feels right, something that's going to match your strength more clearly, probably more so than ever before. Something that's going to actually let you see let you use what you naturally do well, but in a way that is going to feel more expansive, maybe even like more visible and more rewarding. And that feels like it's the direction piece. You've had periods where you felt unclear about what to focus on, maybe like way too many ideas, too many possibilities, responsibilities, and just maybe too many voices telling you what you should be doing. But that energy is going to start to settle because you're getting closer to your actual lane. And once you're in it, things are going to begin to flow much more naturally. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that the road ahead of you is going to be effortless, but it does mean that it's going to become clearer. And, clarity does change everything because when you know where you're going, even the work is going to start to feel different. Like the same actions are no longer going to feel like a random effort. They're going to start to feel like they're building, like, there's movement with purpose. Like every step is adding something real to your future. And I feel like there's also a very important message here about your confidence that's showing up. See, career breakthroughs often come right after we stop overthinking our worth, right? And we start trusting our timing. This feels like a moment where you're going to begin to see yourself differently, not as someone trying to prove to someone else that they deserve success, but as someone who's already, grown into it. And this shift matters. This shift matters because the opportunity that is coming towards you wants someone who can receive it, someone who's ready to receive it, someone who trusts themselves enough to step up and step forward, someone who's not going to shrink when things get bigger. And that's exactly what you are becoming. You may notice that people around you are starting to respond differently too. Like there may be more interest, more attention, more recognition. And it doesn't necessarily have to happen all at once, but I think it's enough to make you realize that your energy is changing. People can feel when someone is moving into a stronger field. They may not always know why, but they do notice, right? Your presence is going to start carrying more weight. Your ideas are going to start landing more clearly, and your name is going to travel just that little bit further and into rooms that, to be honest with you, it belongs. And this career takeoff, it feels like it's tied to visibility, okay, to being seen, to being recognized for what you bring. It may come through a project. It could be a post, it could be a conversation, it could be a collaboration, or it could be someone that like a connection that suddenly opens up a new door for you. Something about your work is going to start becoming more compelling to other people. You want to know why? It's not a coincidence. It's because you've started to embody it more fully yourself. That is the key. So the opportunity doesn't arrive just because you beg for it, right? It arrives because you're ready enough to hold it. And if there's been like a period of uncertainty, that might actually be the very thing that is preparing you to value the opportunity when it does come. Sometimes the waiting period is what teaches us the difference between what drains us and what truly supports us. And I honestly believe that's why this waiting period or this delay has been so important for you. Because when this new path shows up, you are going to recognize this feeling immediately, that this is different. It feels different. It feels more aligned. It feels like a version of your career that is going to give you more energy instead of actually take away from it. And like that's the energy here. That's the tone. We're talking about opportunity with substance. We're talking about direction with purpose. Movement that feels like it's actually going somewhere. Now I also want to speak about the emotional side to this, because a career shift like this is bound to bring up a lot inside us, right? A lot of hope, a lot of positivity, but also some fear, especially if you're someone who has been disappointed before. And especially if you're someone who's been trying really hard, but haven't quite gotten the outcome that you've expected. And I think especially if you have had to keep going without a lot of reassurance on your plate. So this reading is trying to tell you not to let old disappointments take you out of new possibility. Because sometimes the moment before success is the moment where we can begin to doubt ourselves the most, right? We start asking if we're imagining things. We start wondering if the timing is wrong. We can start talking ourselves out of things that is literally like something that is literally approaching us. But the energy says here that you do not need to do that. Like, don't do that. You do not need to over-prepare to deserve it. You don't need to shrink yourself to make it easier for others to understand. You don't need to wait until you feel 100% ready. What you need is openness. What you need is a willingness to receive, a willingness to say yes, even especially when the right thing appears. And that yes is going to come in a form that you didn't necessarily expect. Here's what I want you to take away from this, is that this opportunity is not going to look like the grand dream that you thought you were waiting for. But here's the thing, it might be the stepping stone that's going to get you there, right? So sometimes careers like happen in layers. It's first the opening, and then the confidence builds, and then the momentum, and then the biggest stage. What I'm trying to say is this is your opening here. This is like the beginning of the climb. This is like the opening of the door, the shift from I hope something comes through to, I can finally feel things moving now, right? This is also something very encouraging here because your energy is being magnetic right now. When you stop forcing and start aligning, your natural strength is going to become easier for others to see. Like people are going to pick up on certainty. They trust people who trust themselves. And this career window feels like your authenticity is going to become a huge part of your advantage. You do not have to prepare, you don't have to pretend, to be someone else to receive this. You don't. In fact, that would be a mistake. You just have to be more of who you already are. That is where the opportunity finds you. That's where the energies meet you. So, if you are someone who's been waiting for a sign to keep going, this is it. If you've been trying to decide whether you need to pivot, refine, apply, reapply, post, pitch, share, write, create, step up, this is your green light to do just that, okay? This is not, what this isn't is a guarantee that every single thing is going to land perfectly, because we all know life loves a little chaos, right? But this is a very strong sign that the direction is there and an energy or a clearing is opening. There is something about your career that is about to move from quiet potential into visible momentum. The work that you've been doing is not invisible, even though it seemed like that to the outside. The effort has not been wasted, right? You've gained experience, you've gained lessons, you've gained skills. The path is not as blocked as it seems, and I can't stress that enough because I feel like I'm connecting to a collective who feels like their path is blocked. It is not. The opportunity that's coming in for you is not random. It fits. It's aligned. It fits your energy. It fits the person you're heading, the person that you're becoming. It fits. It does fit the person that you're becoming, especially while no one was watching. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that you've been growing into this moment long before it arrived. And isn't that something special? So I guess just take a breather, trust the shift, keep your eyes and your ears open, and say yes to what feels aligned. Because your career is not just about improving, it's just the beginning of taking off. And when it does, I feel like it's going to surprise you how quickly things are going to start moving. Because in the next phase, I feel like you're going to look back and realize that this is the moment that started to change everything for you. So this is the turning point. This is the opening. This is the opportunity. This is the real deal. And it feels like it's coming in a lot sooner than you think.